Welcome to the Practice Impossible podcast, where your host, Jude Pierre, MD, also known as Coach JPMD, discusses medical practice topics that will guide you through the maze that is the business of medicine and teach you how to increase profits and help populations live long. Your mission, should you choose to accept, is to listen and be transformed. Now, here's your host, Coach JPMD.
Thank you so much for listening to the Practice Impossible podcast with your host, Coach JPMD, and that's me. And this episode I titled Keeping It Real in Some Tough Times. And it's going to be a short episode. It's really kind of highlighting some things that I think practicing providers can take from my own experiences. Because what I'm facing now with staffing and post-COVID issues I've never faced in 20 years. We have 3 open positions for front office and medical assistants, and I can't imagine, I'm the only one struggling, and I believe many of you are struggling right now with staffing issues and just trying to maintain an efficient office. So if you are struggling with your staff and staffing, I think this is the episode for you. And I want to highlight that it's okay not to be perfect. And that's something I struggled with for a long time in the practice. And it's okay for patients to complain. It's okay for them to complain about not returning phone calls or referrals. But it's not okay to be disrespectful. It's not okay for us as providers to ignore the complaints. And it's not okay to dismiss what's really going on. Okay, that's it for my rant. But, I have to say that in 20 years, 20 plus years, I've never had the staffing issues that we've had here. We've got open positions in the practice. We've got no one applying for jobs at this time. So I had to make a decision this week. And that decision was to pause the regular episodes of getting guests and preparing and researching for guests or researching for solo episodes. Because I think in order for practitioners and providers to practice impossible, you have to recognize when you may have to do a shift or pivot in what you're doing. And that's what I'm doing this week. I'm actually pausing, not doing much with the Practice Impossible podcast while I really hone in and focus the practice, focus myself and focus my energies on what I need to do to stabilize my practice situation. So I'm planning on working on 3 different things in the practice that I think will help in getting us stabilized in this time where, as we look for additional staff, I think we can do these 3 things. One is delegate to a key employee or team member. I've had issues about delegating things to people in the past. And I think if you have a strong team leader, if you have someone that can handle some of the additional work, as you look for that next person, delegate the menial things to that person so that it relieves you from those pressures so that you can focus on the things that you need to do to get additional team members on your team. The second thing I did was that I approved overtime. So we typically did not approve overtime in the past, and I thought it was important to give overtime for the things that my team members needed to do, like callbacks and return results. And if you are down a couple of staff members, paying additional overtime monies will not affect your bottom line because you're already down a couple of members, and it shouldn't affect your finances at all. And the number 3 thing that I did was that I plan to do is get more involved in the hiring process. And it may be that, the current team members that you have may not be able to process all of the hires and process the interviews or the resumes that are coming in. So get involved with the hiring process. And that's what I'm doing. And that, I hope, will help you develop a plan if you're struggling with the similar things that I'm struggling with in the practice. So like I said, this is going to be a short episode. I hope these 3 things might help you. And I hope it helps me because I really need the help as well. And we'll be back for regular episodes in 2 weeks. And please share this episode with a friend. And if you haven't had a chance to listen to some of the other podcasts, go ahead and listen to the one of, I think, 24 episodes that I recorded over the past year. And I'm sure you'll find something that can help you and it can help you practice impossible in these tough times. Cheers.